witnessing this day turned out beautiful. And I just am so thankful that you guys asked me to be in the station. So I am obviously Jessica, the lucky best friend of I. We became friends because we were the slowest people on the team. And you might as well come and last together. So we soon realized that not only did we take the same hour-long bus ride home from school every day to Massey, but we also had a lot in common. Our love for the Lord, the outdoors, our family, and soon to be realized, not so much cross country. Yeah. Oh gosh, it's painful. So what truly strikes me about our friendship is that Olivia and I only got to spend 1 year of time together in the same town. My family moved away in my grade 10, in our grade 10 year, and eventually we went to post-secondary education in different places. But through all of this and through all of our time apart, we still managed to stay best friends and grow even closer together through the years. It truly is a once-in-a-lifetime friendship. Olivia and I may not have ever had the chance to grow up together as childhood friends, and we never imagined what our wedding days would be like as little girls. We don't have any memories to speak of before the age of 15, but none of that matters because I feel like I've known you my entire life. We have laughed together, gotten lost together, cried together, shared our fears and accomplishments together. There really aren't enough words to describe how much you mean to me and how important our friendship is. You are my absolute best friend. You've always been there for me, and I will always be there for you, even from across the country. God truly blessed me with this friendship, and I sometimes wonder where I'd be without you, my best friend. I do know that standing here today on one of the most special days of your life, your wedding day, is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Larson! I knew a lot about you before I even met you. You were the topic of many phone dates between Olivia and I. And you were also the guy that would steal Olivia's phone and send me weird Snapchats all the time. And I was like, who is this guy? And then I met you, and you saved my life on a mountain, so, and you included me in your proposal scheme, and it truly meant a lot to me that you included me in that, so thank you. And most importantly, you treat Olivia with love and respect, and that was very easy to see from the first day of seeing you two together. And as her husband, you are her very best friend, and I am willing to toss the reins over to you because I know that you love her very much, and you will always show her the love she deserves. And I also know that I will never have to worry about you taking my place as her running partner. I wish you both the best, and cheers.
I'm Larson's best man, and what a... it's getting real. What a pleasure to be here. This is amazing, just seeing a bunch of people that just love these two and just getting to share this day with them. The first time I ever saw Larson was at the skateboard park, probably in, I think, 2001 or something like that. And park wasn't built till 2002, but it was pretty much finished by 2001. And I remember showing up to the park with my brother, and we were skating, and I was like, man, there's no one here my age. Like, I suck at skateboarding. I can't do anything. And I look over, and I see Larson, and I see Casey, his brother. And I remember just watching them, like, off in the distance. They were in, like, the big section of the park, the ramps, and, like, all the transition stuff. Like, not, like, the little stuff, like, the bigger stuff. And I remember seeing them, and I see Larson's mom come to the park, and I'm just like in this small section looking around like, what the heck, this place is gnarly. Like, there's all these older dudes with tattoos and piercings in their face, and I'm just like this little dinky kid, just like doesn't know what the heck's going on. And Larson skates up to his mom, he's like, Mom, check this out. I'm gonna go drop in on that ramp. I'm gonna go 50-50 that ledge, and then I'm gonna do a kickflip. And these are all tricks. Like, if you ride skateboards, there's not many people here that ride skateboards. There's one table over there. There's one table right there. Everyone else, I'm sorry, you just don't understand. But in skateboarding, there's a few tricks that are pinnacle, if you're a skateboarder, is when you learn how to drop in on a ramp. When you learn how to kickflip, it's like the starting of every trick that you could ever learn is a kickflip. And a 50-50, it's like the first grinding trick on a ledge. And Larson, I watch him just like tell his mom he's gonna do all these things. He goes up to the ramp, and I'm just like, no way, this is real. And he drops in on like the gnarliest ramp. At the time, it was just like, oh, this is insane. He drops in. He dropped in. This is just pinnacle. And he just skates up, and then he 50-50s this ledge. And then he comes over, he's like, Mom, check this out. Does a kickflip. And it was just like, this dude is the coolest dude. Like, what the heck? Like, that was the first time that I saw Larson. That was the first time that I looked up to Larson. I was just like, this is the sickest dude that I could have ever seen in my life. And he's just dropping in on this ramp, 50-50 in this ledge, kick-flipping in front of everybody, and he's just younger than everyone. It was so cool. And over the years, I just like got to know him and just looked up to him the whole time. He's just the most solid dude, as Caleb said during the ceremony, just genuine. That's the one word that comes to mind when I think of Larson. He's just genuine through and through, to the core, genuine. There's nothing fake about Larson. When you see Larson, there's nothing put on about who he is. There's nothing put on about his character. He's not fazed by trends. He's not fazed by anything that everyone else is doing. He just sticks to what he knows is cool. He sticks to what he knows is awesome. And it's so easy to look up to someone like that, and look up to someone and who just isn't influenced by everybody else. He just does his own thing, and he's so solid in what he does. And I've gotten to live with him and travel with him through the years, to skateboard and go on trips and everything with him. He's just the best dude. And he moved to Winnipeg for a few years and came back, and when he came back, I was like, man, you're back in Cranbrook. It's been like 3 years you've been out of town. Like, what the heck? This is amazing. Like, you're home, and like, how is it? Like, what's it like being back? And he's like, man, it's good. It's just, the only thing I need is a dog and a girlfriend. I was like, okay, well, I knew Olivia, and I was like, man, okay, sweet. Well, I can't help you with the dog thing, but I know this girl. So after church one day, I was like, okay. I was like, Larson, I turned around, I was like, see that girl up there? He's like, yeah. He's like, that's Olivia. You want to go for lunch with her? It's like, yeah. All right. Like, okay, I'm going to see what I can do. So we walk up there together, and I'm like, Olivia, what are you doing right now? Like, you're not working or anything? He's like, just whatever, and let's go for lunch. Let's go to a cafe. And she's like, all right, sweet, let's go. And Larson's just chilling there, just arms crossed, just putting out the vibe, just like, I'm your future husband. You don't even know it yet. He's just chilling there, and we're like, all right, let's go for lunch. So we go to Hot Shots Cafe, and we're sitting there, and Larson just turned it on. It was amazing. We were sitting around the table, stories were coming out. It was fantastic. Just everything from Winnipeg, all these stories, just turned into the charmer. And I was like, watch out, this guy's on fire. Ladies, look out, here he goes. And so the date, and like we're done lunch, we all go home, and I was like, Larson, why don't you just like give her a text, like make sure she made it home all right, or something. Just make sure she's just touch base with her. And he's like, is that weird? Like, should I do that? It's like, yeah, it's fine, man. Don't even think of it as weird. Here's her number. Give the number, and a week later we meet up, and I was like, so how's things? He's like, oh, frick, man. That's like classic Larson. He's got these two words. It's, oh, good grief. And the other one's, oh, frick. And It's like, Larson, man, how you been? He's like, oh, frick, dude. I got a girlfriend, man. No way. Olivia? He's like, yeah, dude. Just like a week later, it's like they're just fully just going out, like just out of nowhere. It's like, all right, sweet. And then I didn't really see Larson for a couple months. And then the next time I talked to him, he was on the phone. It's like, Larson, man, how you doing? Like, I haven't seen you in so long, frick. Like, why don't we go skateboard or do something that we used to do? He's like, oh, dude, good grief, man. It's like, what? He's like, I just shot a horse in the face, man. It's like, you just shot a horse in the face? Like, yeah, I'm hanging out with Olivia. I just shot a horse in the face. Like, they were up at the... Tim's not liking that one at all. Yeah, it's just, you know, the first thing that crossed my mind is like, man, this girl is perfect for Larson. She kills more animals than he does. Oh man, this is perfect. And you know, every time I feel like I slowly stop kind of hanging out with Larson, even though we lived together. I feel like I never hung out with Larson. Like, I would come home from work and he was gone to Olivia's, and then he would come home late at night and I would never see him, and he's just hanging out with Olivia all the time. I was like, dude, how's things with... Oh, frick, man. Like, oh, dude, I went shopping for rings the other day, man. It's like, yeah, I was at Dairy Queen and I was ordering a burger, man. I opened my wallet and the Jewels on 9 card fell out of my wallet and she saw it on the ground. I think she's on to me, man. I'm buying her ring. Oh, good grief, she's on to me. And you know, next time I talk to him, he's like, oh, frick, man, I gotta talk to Tim. Talk to Tim, man. Like, I went up to their house and there was just Carol in there and Tim wasn't there, and I was like, ah, frick, what do I do? He's not even here. I just left. And you know, as it went on, it was like every single thing, every time I talked to Larson, it was just this genuine, like, his mind was just genuinely blown that he was with this person. And just genuinely, just floored that he had found someone so perfect for him. And every conversation with Larson was, good grief. I can't believe this is happening to me. It's just like, and no one more deserving, and just the best dude. I can't even put it into words. You're just the best friend, and man, it is so cool. Even just like up until today, just yesterday doing the rehearsal, and we're just standing here and he's putting the ring on like we're just practicing for today, and you know, just like pretends to put the ring on. You just hear like, oh, cool. It's just good grief, man. This is freaked up. It's just freaking weird. And just like it's so awesome just seeing, oh man, I can't even, it's just amazing. So let's raise our glasses. Let's have a toast for these two. Love you guys. You guys are the best.
Dragged my cell phone along with me today. Jesse was talking about the whole engagement thing and whatnot, and I actually saved the text messages that she and I and Emily were messing around with that day. There was a little bit of hijinks going on that day. There was a few small lies being told and whatnot, just to kind of set this up. Jesse knew what was going on. Anyways, I'll read you some of it. Can I borrow your glasses?
Good
So this starts out with Jesse. Gotcha. will you be at the mall? Emily will come and get you. So Emily was involved with this too. Yeah, Liv is going to drop me off at the mall after this. She's just at the realtor place signing something. Okay, Ems will pick me up by the movie theater in about 15 minutes. Make it 20, so we are stopping at Starbucks real quick now. I'll tell her just half an hour. Perfect. I saw the ring. Larson stopped off here after Liv dropped me off. Awesome! Has Ems left yet? Okay, I'm with Ems. Do you want me to meet you at the bank? Oh, well, we'll be just a while. Just stay put. You and Ems and Leah may as well go together to Kimberly. Ems said Leah didn't get off till 6-ish. I just saw them! On the bike? Yay! Woohoo! We pulled it off! She called me and I totally had to lie. We sure did. Now hopefully Larson doesn't mess it up. He was texting and calling every 5 minutes. What a baby. We just saw them. They were walking, holding hands. The bike was parked. Any minute now. Yeah, that was a fun day. So anyways, they got engaged on a Thursday. Friday, Olivia took Jesse to Calgary to get on a flight to go back home, and she stopped off at a bride shop in Calgary and bought a dress and brought it home that day. 3 months engaged. That's pretty cool. I like that. I would just like to raise a toast to Wilbur the pig.
Can't even make glasses back.
You needed them that much last summer.
I wrote notes. I took Carolyn out. Well, actually, the first girl I ever took out was Carolyn.
Did the car door fall off on that day?
Yeah, it was grade 8. I graduated. I learned a lot taking grade 3 twice. It was worth it. So grade 8 was special for me. I yelled across the church parking lot, "Hey, would you like to go to the grade 8 graduation?" Literally, it was probably 20 yards. And she said yes. And we had a good time, but I never went out again until after college. It was kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but we just started trapping muskrats. Prices were pretty good. You know, and she was figure skating. And, you know, life's busy. But it was kind of strange. We kind of went separate ways for a while, and I got out of college, and you know, life was over at 21, so I had to move it. And I asked her out. We were in the school bus business at the time. And every year we took all of our school bus drivers to a bus driver's ball. And so I asked her out. I went over to a friend's of mine's house and worked up some nerve. I have to admit, I had a couple of beers to work up the nerve. I called her at home, her brother answered, and I'd been traveling with her brothers for years. And yeesh, I had to explain myself to these guys why I wanted to talk to her sister. And, you know, and so they knew right away. And, oh, man, it's grief. So anyhow, I asked her out. I asked her out when I went back from college and to the bus driver's banquet. And it was a gala affair, really. It sounds much more Anyhow. And that was in September. I think that was always middle of September. Right, Dad, sometime, or 20th of September, you know, kind of get the bus drivers bribed up before the year. The kids got really bad on the bus. And yeah, I took her out to the bus driver's ball, and one of the driver's husbands spilled a whole tray of beer on her. It was embarrassing. I thought, oh man, this is not going anywhere. And but we were married less than a year. That was probably the 20th of September, and we were married by the 4th of September the following year. So I think we got you beat, but you guys are pretty close. Good effort. A year and 2 days. Okay, that's pretty close. Not good enough. I just wanted to clarify that when she was talking about the year thing. I just wanted to make sure he knew that I would beat him. Anyhow, I don't know, I had a few things to say, and I wrote them down because I just want to thank everybody for coming. I know that lots of you came from a long way away, and I really appreciate everybody coming. You know, even people that came from, you know, down the road. You know, it takes an effort, right? You have other things you could do, and you know, coming means that what happens here today is important to you, and because it's important to you, it's even more important to us when people show up, and it's a big deal that people made an effort to come. So I just want everybody to know that it's very special that everybody came, and we're very happy to have everybody here. And just thanks a lot for coming. And I just want to, you know, thank everybody for helping out. You know, especially Robin, Nancy, and Belinda, and everybody that, you know, came early. No one thank you for doing the pig and stuff. And, you know, I'm probably forgetting people, and it helped out. You know, it's amazing. You can't. You know, when you go to a wedding, you just have fun. But then when you do one, you realize how much stuff there is really to do. When you want to do a decent job, you want people to have a good time, and there's just a lot of stuff that you don't realize has to get done. And it's just, I just really thank everybody for everything that you've done, no matter how small you think you did something or, you know, helped with anything. I just appreciate everything you've done. Melanie and Dan, thank you for everything. And, you know, just I can't. We're gonna get to know each other a lot better, and over time, and because it's only been a year and 2 days. So, you know, I just thank you guys for everything, and it's just thanks a lot. I think that the one thing I really has been on my heart lately that the Lord's been really telling me is that there's certain things in life that need to be witnessed. It needs to be said in public. There's things that just need to be said in public. There's things that need to be witnessed by friends and family and by other people, and there's things that need to be said in public. It's just something that's in us, and I think it's more of a God thing than we think it is. There's so many aspects of things that God has asked us to do that requires us to be witnessed by other people. You know, God knows our hearts. He knows what we do. But He requires us to be witnesses of other people's things that happen, and it kind of puzzles me why. And it's because He knows our nature so well. And He knows that it's important. He knows that a public display, a public announcement of what we are committing ourselves to is important to us. It matters to us. It doesn't matter to Him. I don't care about, and I don't think God cares that Larson and Olivia come up here and sign these papers tonight. It means nothing to me. I know for sure it means nothing to God. And frankly, to tell the truth, when I thought about it, it means nothing to the government, because you don't have to sign that. What is it now? In a certain amount of time, the government's going to tell you you're married anyhow. So it actually is kind of biblical, the government, the way they look at things. And I think it's the value of commitment on a certain thing which we're celebrating today, which is marriage. And I think there's a real value to a public display, a public statement of saying that you're committed. And whether it's in a larger form or medium-sized form like this, or a small form with just a few friends, or whether it's in your daily lives and the way you treat each other. You say that you're committed, you're saying it publicly, and what you're saying is that I'm willing to be held to account for that. And I think that it's important. And that's what's important for us today. And I thought that it was really fitting that I don't hear it in every ceremony. And when Caleb brought it up, Caleb was the guy that did the ceremony today. He asked that we as a family would support and commit ourselves to the success of this marriage. And we said yes. And then when in the rehearsal he said that I'm going to ask the congregation to make the same commitment, that they're going to be willing, as friends and family of these two people, that they be willing to make the commitment to make their marriage a success to the best effort that they can. You know, things don't, whatever, but it's just, we're here as witnesses and to this event. And there is a responsibility to that. And the responsibility is to be as supportive and caring for these guys as we can, to make their life successful and to make their marriage successful. So I thought that was very appropriate, and I never thought about it until he mentioned it, and I totally agreed with it. I just never thought of it that it was going to be mentioned. So thank you, Caleb. That was great. I really thought that was after the ceremony, after the rehearsal last night. I thought that was a great thing. Yeah. Like Dan and Leah, I said it at the last wedding. Anybody who was at that one, I believe that Larson is the reason why we moved here, as much as Dan and Leah's marriage was. We haven't been here very short. We've been here a very short time, and I probably moved here quicker than I probably would have for other reasons that, just God put stuff into my path that I had to get going, but obviously it wasn't the reason why. I can see that now. I'm not blind. I got two daughters married in like less than a year. I can fight it, but I'm not winning. So, and just to finish up, I don't want to, there's moments in your life you remember, and I don't know why you remember certain moments in your life, and I'm not saying that this is going to be the biggest moments that you remember. I don't want to put a damper on it. Right. For some reason, there are certain moments in your life you remember, and I was trying to reflect on moments that I remember in my life and what it meant to me and what it did for me. And I traveled up on a train one time with a guy, a really good friend of mine. And we drove up, people from Northern Ontario know what I'm talking about. It was called the Butt Car, and it was just, we'd drive through the wilderness and drop people off at trap lines and stuff, and it was the only way in and out, and it would go up one day and down the next day. So you had to wait beside the track in case it was late and sit there for the train to come back, because the next day, but you'd always have to wait till the following day if you were going to the same direction, because it only went up and down, and it skipped a day, went up and down 3 times a week, and then skipped a day. So I went up to this place with this guy, and we went trapping on his trap line. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was probably 30 below during the day and 40 below during the night. And the cabin was 8 by 12. Me and him slept in there, and it was that particular trip was a really good trip. We snowshoed about, he had a bad leg. He got crushed in a mining accident, and so he snowmobiled one day, and I went to check beaver traps on another line. And I walked into probably 3 lakes. There was probably 3 lakes, and the snow was probably up to my waist. And it was a beautiful, crisp, sunny day. And in the bush, the snow was really deep. But when you hit the lakes, the snow was maybe maybe a 1.5 feet deep, but it was a bit of a crust on top, and you could walk on top with your snowshoes. And I got to the third lake, and I started walking across this lake, and these mountains were coming up on both sides. Mountains, well, I live in Ontario, but hills. So there's these hills coming up on both sides. And it was beautifully sunny, and it was only sinking 3 or 4 inches in the lake. And there was this wisp of snow going across the lake. There was a breeze, like a heavy breeze, but not a wind, just a heavy breeze. And there was this wisp of snow going across the lake. And it was beautifully sunny out, and it was like 30, 35 below. You just crap when you step with your snowshoes. It was just the most perfect day. And I walked about a third of the way across that lake, just trudging along, not really looking where I was going, just trying to get to the other end. And I kind of looked up, and I seen all this. And for some reason, I don't know why, I just stopped, and I stood there for like 10 minutes looking at this. And there was this wisp of snow going across, and these hills going up, rocky hills going up on both sides of the lake. And there was it's kind of silly, but you know, I've been on lots of lakes, and since moving out here, lots of mountains and stuff. But just that particular day, and for some reason, I can close my eyes and I can see that lake. And I've been on 100 lakes, you know, climbed 100 hills and dozens of mountains, maybe not 100 mountains yet. You know, but for some reason I can see that lake and I don't know why. There was something in me that day. There was something being with that guy and that lake and the perfectness of the wilderness and God's creation on that particular day that held my memory. I remember when I was a little kid riding on the back of a pack mule, and I rode up into the Guajira Mountains in Colombia with my dad. He lived in Colombia. And there was a lake up there too. I remember this lake, and the lake was probably, I don't know, 3/4 of a kilometer across. But you know, I was a little kid, so I don't even remember. It might have been only 500 yards across. I don't know, 300 yards across. We rode up, and it was all rocky, really rocky, so it was in the Alpine. When you're in the Alpine in Colombia, you're a long way up. You're probably, I don't know, 12,000 feet? I don't know. You're up there a long ways. And we were walking through there, and we came over this ridge, and there was this lake. And this lake looked like a piece of, like plexiglass or something. It was so perfect. It was just so perfectly flat. There was not a ripple on the lake, and there was rock ridge rising up on the other. Guajira Mountains were rising up on the other side of it. And I was just a little kid, and we went on a lot of trips like that, but I can close my eyes and I can still see that lake. And I don't know why. It's kind of funny. I don't remember the rest of the trip. We dug up some old mountain hiker's chocolate under a rock that was all bitter, like really bitter, no sugar in the chocolate. I remember that. It was just nasty. We were up there for like 3 years or something. I don't know. I remember that. But I don't know if you remember that lake, Dad, but Carl Lehman was with us, and the next morning we camped there, and the next morning he climbed up the mountain on the other side. And, you know, was that a really small lake?
That was close to 20,000 feet.
Was that 20,000 feet? Yeah,
Because it was putting around the equator.
We're having trouble even boiling stuff, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know why I remember that lake. It's kind of memories that stick in your mind. I think what I'm trying to get at is that marriage changes you in some ways. There are things you remember, and there's things that you think you're going to remember. I remember my wedding day, but I remember that lake more than I remember my wedding day. I got a song a little later that and we've talked about this, so I would never say this. About remembering stuff about our wedding day, and you kind of forget stuff about it because of, you know, there's other moments in your life that you're going to remember together that may be even more memorable than this. And it's kind of funny the way your head works. And I learned pretty quickly that marriage did change me. I always thought to myself, you know, you got to live on the edge. The best view is on the edge. If you're not out on the edge, you're not seeing everything. You know, that's the place to be, is right on the edge, so you can see everything. You know, if you stand back too far, you can't see everything. You don't take any risks. You can't see nothing. Get right up to the edge there. You can see life. You can take life by the horns, and that's true. But you know, the view's pretty good about 2 steps back too. You know, and I learned that lesson. I was lost once out on a lake, and I couldn't find my way back. It was getting dark, and the only way back was across. I was on my snowmobile, and the only way back was across an open stretch of water through. It was all fogged in. It was a set of narrows, and I knew my way if I could get through those narrows. And it was open water, but I couldn't see how far across the water it was. And I went around the bay trying to find my way out, and I couldn't find my way out, and it was getting dark, and I wasn't familiar with with the place. And it was ice. It was sheer ice. The whole lake was sheer ice. My sled was totally picked up, so I had lots of traction, but there was no snow in the bush. I couldn't see where the trail left. I was kind of I couldn't find my way. I couldn't find my way out of there, even though it was familiar to me. I couldn't find my way out. And I thought my only option is to go across that water. So I took a turn in the bay, and I got the sled up to, I don't know, 160 kilometers an hour. And I took it into that narrows, and the rocks were coming in. And as I hit the fog, I heard my skis hit the water. And I disappeared into the fog. And the narrow spot, the narrowest spot of this was about 50 yards across, and I was going through the fog, and I could see the rocks rising up on each side of me. I had to hit it straight, or I'd hit a rock, and I couldn't see the sides. And as I went through, I could see the rocks, and I changed the direction a little bit, and the thing was not very good on water. It just wasn't very good. And I didn't know how far it was because I couldn't see. So I'm going through the fog, and the machine I can feel it. It's slowing down. Now, man, it's slowing down. I'm thinking, I could probably make that swim. I'm thinking, I got to make that swim. I got to get my helmet off. I got to make that swim. And then all of a sudden, the fog starts to clear a little bit, and my skis hit the ice on the other side, and my picks grabbed, and my arms stretched out again, and off I went again. In the fog, I left the fog behind, and I was home free. And that changed me. I thought, man, you're an idiot. I had a wife and a kid at home. I had a business. I made the wrong choice. I should have pulled over on the shoreline. I should have made a fire. I would have been in trouble the next day. I think last morning I told one of them we're getting lost on a boat, right? But that was later, so but that did change me that day. It really did, and so I'm not saying that don't live life on the edge. It's a great place to be, and I want you to be out there. I want you to experience the world and experience what God wants for you. But at the same time, there's limits, and it does change you. It's a different life. It's a different life. There's a different weight of responsibility on you. That it's just not you, that you're, there's all of a sudden your plan is expanded. And I think it was not just a sense of, it makes me emotional, not because of the fear of going through the water. It makes me emotional of what would have happened if I wouldn't have made it. And so I think that it's marriage does change you, and if you allow God, He will lead you through this stuff, But you got to be willing to just step back a little bit. I'm not saying don't experience life, but just step back a little bit. Just enough room for one person in front of you that you can follow. And for me, that's God. And I follow God out here, And not because He led me, it's because I stepped aside and I allowed Him to lead me. And I didn't have a clue what we were doing. I don't know what we thought we were doing.
Now you know.
But now I know. Right? And so it's not a matter of not experienced life. It's just allowing a little bit of room in front of you for somebody else to lead you. So anyhow, that's what I had. That's all my notes. Thanks a lot for coming. Really appreciate it.
this goes back to the grade 8 days. There's a group of young people, and maybe Kurt will remember this because he used to lead the young people's group, but they were getting together for a snowmobile trek. And Tim was one of them, and we have 2 older boys, and so before they left, I was giving them some instructions. Now you look after Carolyn, make sure she's got a ride. And Carolyn said, and I was suggesting that they take her on. Carolyn said, never mind, Mom, because I think Tim might ask me to ride on.
I had about a 45-minute talk planned, but Tim used up all my time.
Got all night now.
So I'll just start off by saying that my therapist suggested that maybe I ask someone else to do this for us.
No way, you guys are the best.
And then Larson thought it would be less painful for everyone involved if Dan didn't have to do it. So, anyways, and then Kim stole everything I was going to say. What am I supposed to do?
Hey, sometimes you like to hear that.
You were going to talk about the time. I was pretty adventurous about it.
Muskrat trapping.
Yeah, muskrat trapping and out in the muskeg in St. Albert, Saskatchewan. But anyways, again, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. And like Tim said, a lot of you traveled a long ways. You traveled across rock and prairie and southern Alberta and the mountains to get here. And yeah, some of you just came down the road, and we appreciate that. It means a lot to us, and it means a lot to Larson and Olivia. So thank you for coming. Yeah, I don't even know if I should say the phone number. So, raising Larson wasn't without his challenges, that's for sure. But you know, once he
Here we are.
once we hit the teenage years, it was all great. Those are the best years ever, the teenage years. That's when the fun times and the adventures really started, with skateboarding and dirt biking and snowboarding and skateboarding and road trips and skateboarding, road trips and a house full of boys. Always a house full of boys.
Yeah.
And then new boys. And then, yeah. So we were always very proud of our boys, and you know, like most parents are. But there's a few times that stand out for us with Larson in particular. And I guess the proudest time for me as a mother, anyways, was when Larson chose to be baptized. That's the big day for me. I can still see it. And when he came and said, "I want to be baptized," and I think those are words a mother wants to hear. And then another time I was proud of him was when he jumped on his Honda CB, and even though it was pouring rain, and he had Connor clinging to him crying, but he still hung in there, and away they went. They went to Vancouver, and rain, and he didn't die. But you know what I told myself? You gotta let him go. You gotta let him go sometime, and he's having a good time, and he's doing what he wants to do, and he loves God. So it's all right. And then another time I have was when he made the decision to go to Winnipeg for the discipleship training. That was a pretty big thing. Then he came home, and then he went back to Winnipeg again. And he did another great thing there. You know, mentoring young skaters. We love young skaters. We love old skaters too. But
This guy's old and washed up, isn't it?
And then he went to China, and that was a little scary. And apparently he eats toenails. I didn't know that about him. He took a trade. Now he's doing heavy duty mechanics, and I could just go on and on and on. And then this summer, we were up on Fisher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was up on Fisher, and all of a sudden there in front of me, my little boy became this man who was a leader, who took charge and saved us all. Saved the day, and I thought, well, okay, he can get married now. And then he proposed, and then he did get married. And here we are. So it's just all great. It was perfect. So, a lot of great memories. And I just want to thank Tim and Caroline for the wonderful role models and models you've been. Just clearly of what I see in Olivia, but also just what I've seen in the last year of how you've accepted Larson, and you clearly love him, or else you're really good at that. How you do? Larson came home with that truck. I knew it was Sitch then. Yeah. When Larson came home with Bear, I wasn't quite sure if it was because you didn't like me, or but now I love Bear, and he wants to take him away from me, so it's just all bad. But yeah, thank you for raising Olivia to be a strong, compassionate, loving girl who clearly loves God, and for the love you've shown Larson, the friendship you've given us, and I look forward to good times together, and maybe eventually, Tim, you'll realize that you won't die if you don't see it. That's the first time he met me. He didn't know what to do with me. I didn't see. He didn't even understand that. And thanks, Wilbur. I appreciate that. And I want to thank the bridesmaids and the groomsmen for all the work you did, and all the help, and just everything, the support you've been over the last weeks and days. That's really great. And Brendan for being MC, and everybody who helped, family and friends who helped these last few days. It worked out perfect. It couldn't, in my mind, be a more perfect day. So thanks all for coming to the wedding. And Larson and Olivia, we're so glad that you've chosen to follow Christ in your relationship and now in your marriage. We pray blessings over you. Live each day the fullest, and like Tim said, on the edge. Don't forget to pray. And of course, have fun on your honeymoon. With this verse, I feel like it just kind of sums up what Tim was saying, and I wrote it in your card. It's from the book of Zephaniah. For the Lord your God is living among you. He is a mighty Savior. He will take delight in you with gladness. With his love, he will calm all your fears, and he will rejoice over you with joyful songs.